Hello. Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ram Kumar. So I know everyone is excited about AI, machine learning. I'm not going to talk about it, though I have a lot of background, 30 years in technology, 20 years in AI and machine learning since 1985. I've done a lot of basic and applied research in AI and machine learning, working with some of the inventors of AI, actually. So I come with a lot of background on data. I've been doing data for over 25 years. But what I thought is that I will talk about pressing problems. I mean, people get excited about building models, but there are a lot of other bigger problems than that. So I thought I will use this session to give you an overview of what a true data-driven organization is. So let's go quickly into that. Hang on. Yeah, so quick overview of Quantium. I need to say that we are a #1 data science and AI company from Australia, started in 2002. And we are one of the very few pure play data analytics companies, and that is growing at a much faster rate globally. So about 800 people with over 1.2 billion is our market cap, 30% growth year on year since inception 2002. And probably one of the very, very few profitable companies, data analytics, pure play companies. So since 2002, we have been profitable, debt-free, no venture capital, no investor. And we are owned 50% by Woolworths, which is a retail giant in Australia and New Zealand. It's about $70 billion company, so they have a 50% of us. And we do strategic partnerships. So we don't do like an offshore, onshore consulting work. For example, with Walmart US, we are the strategic partner of Walmart working with the CEOs. Recently, we won a $100 million analytics contract with Walmart. So all the Walmart analytics teams and all the other analytics company work under us. So that's the partnership we build. And we also are very big on data partnerships. So we bring retail, insurance, telecom data from all these companies and build customized data products. So that's what we are. And India is like a center of excellence. So that's what I am, the executive of Center of Excellence for India. And we work with over across 20 countries, all kinds of people, you name McDonald's and all those people. So we are high-end company across various sectors. So we come with a lot of background and experience, 17 years in data science and AI. So because the founders were actually, they had their background is in actuarial science. So it's quite relevant to what we do. So, and the other thing, over 16 years, 17 years, we are very big on data privacy, security, and ethical use of data, because we know that if we do something wrong, we'll become like Cambridge Analytica. We knew that right from day one. So anything we do, we don't deal with private personal data, we de-identify the data. So that's one of the things we have been doing for 17 years, because we believe in Warren Buffett's statement. It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to destroy it. So we are very particular about that. So I did an analysis on the conference sessions. And this is what I found out. Look at that, over 90% on machine learning and AI, because that's a buzzword. So I get it. Okay, it's a hype. That's all right. And there's few on other things, but look at the data piece, which is the foundation of whole analytics or AI that you are talking about. But in a conference like this, people need to talk about the persistent problem around data rather than talking about the models and the AI stuff, because they are the easy bits. But the biggest problem is getting your data right, preparing the data, and the other biggest problem is making sure you operationalize your models or AIs and get return on investment. Until you get a return on investment, what's the point in just building models because they are cute and sexy? That's my view. So my focus will be on then what is a true data-driven organization. Is data the new oil or the new currency? You all heard about that, right? Someone like me in the industry for over 25, 30 years, I don't believe data is the new oil or the new currency. Data has always been the oil. Data was always there. But except that organizations are only now starting to realize that data is a strategic and competitive asset. Importance was given to people, process, and technology, but not data. But data is the common denominator between people, process, and technology. It's like your blood in your body. You might look handsome, you might be You might be doing good, all your brain will be working fine, your hands are fine, but you fall sick, what do? You run to a doctor. What does the doctor say? Can you please go and do a blood test? Only then you think about your blood. So that's why data is the common denominator between people, process, and technology. All these years, people never thought about their data. They took it for granted. That's why now, suddenly, with all these advancements in infrastructure or technology, you are able to process data better, and suddenly data has become so important. And now people start to realize that data is a valuable asset than people, process, and technology. People can come and go. Today's technology is tomorrow's legacy. But do you say that, oh, I have this data, tomorrow I don't want it, I want to throw it away? No, you don't. So data becomes extremely critical because it's very competitive. And it can generate measurable value and business outcome, and thereby you monetize data, generating value out of data. That's the role of data scientists. How do you generate value out of data, not how to create exciting models? Okay, so data-savvy companies receive greater market to book valuation. So you can see that. I mean, it's all in wherever, I mean, you look at all the media and everything, that's what it is. In an organization that learns to value data by treating it as a strategic and competitive asset will gain significant advantage over its competitors. That's what organizations should start thinking about. And the role of data scientists are critical for that, and they need to start thinking about the end-to-end aspect, the different stack of data analytics rather than the model building or doing something around AI. So that's why I think as a data scientist, you have a critical role to make use of that strategic asset. So what enables AI, data engineering, or data science? Data, right? That's the foundation. If you get the data right, my view, if I get the right data, I can do anything with data. But the problem is getting the right data. If you get the right data in the right context, with the right quality, then, and with the right domain expertise, then I can extract features, I can extract variables, and then create all the models you want, because the model generation is now out of box. It's like 4GL language, you press the buttons, a model gets created. But that's not the point. But getting the data is the issue, and having the right data. So that's what data scientists should be mindful of. So no matter how smart and efficient the organization's business processes are, how advanced, savvy, and solid the IT systems that support the processes are, how capable and skillful the staff who use the process and technology are, how sophisticated the data analytical models are to produce data-driven insights, and how intelligent AI solutions are, if the underlying data that these processes, technology, analytical models, people in AI use is not good enough in terms of its quality, the expected business outcome is going to be garbage. Garbage in, garbage out. There's no silver bullet. So that's why, again, I want to repeat that if you are serious about treating data as a strategic asset, like your blood in your body, you better be serious about it. It's not word of mouth saying that, hey, data is a strategic asset. So what are you doing about it? That's the question. So data analytics life cycle. You all know, right from having a business, develop a business understanding, develop data understanding, primary analysis, main analysis, results evaluation and testing, deployment and reporting. Can you please, anyone tell you that you spend only 20% of your time on data preparation and 80% on modeling? How many of you can say that? All the data scientists or who were claimed to be an AI expert spend 80% of the time, at least 80% of the time preparing the data. 20% or less than 20%. In fact, it's becoming even the time frame, the time to build models even becoming shorter with all these advancements. And the remaining complexity is on actually productionizing your models and getting return on investment. But in a conference like this, nobody wants to talk about that 80%. They all get excited about AI and machine learning, right? So unless that problem is solved, unless you are able to get the data at a faster rate with the right quality levels, it will be extremely hard for data scientists like you, because you will struggle to find value return on investment. And there are evidences. I will show you some of the evidences, or the surveys, latest survey from Harvard Business Review. It's getting worse, actually. So I always use data management as a classical example, or a classical example for the definition of insanity. You try to come up with many solutions without solving the fundamental problem. That's what it is. Data management, I've seen that for 30 years. All these new concepts came, SOA, service-oriented architecture, all those things is going to change the world. Did it? I don't think so. It became even more complex because the fundamental issue was never addressed around data. So 80% of the effort, roughly, is spent on data preparation. Okay, so if you use data-driven technologies, products, and insights to drive business outcomes, does it mean your organization has a data-driven culture? That's my question. So performing advanced analytics and building intelligent solutions, whether advanced analytics or basic analytics, whatever you call it, does not necessarily mean an organization is data-driven or has a data-driven culture. So what does it mean by a data-driven culture? How the life cycle of data, how many of you know what is a life cycle of data? Anyone? I mean, I'm not surprised, actually. How the life cycle of data is managed and governed effectively and efficiently that would enable an organization to organize its data, to drive activities, use data in an acceptable manner, make decisions, manage risks, and resolve conflicts, thereby creating value to the business. When you look at that definition, where is the AI and machine learning or your analytics component? It's on the use side. There are a lot of things before use and after use. So those things, the end-to-end stack, life cycle of data is extremely critical if you want to be a true data-driven organization or create a culture. People should be thinking about data. What do I need to make the data better? What do I need to improve the quality of data so that my data scientists can do a better job so that I can get a better outcome rather than garbage in, garbage out? So that's the problem. So data-driven culture, what does a data lifecycle means? This is foundation. I think this was introduced sometime in 1968. Nothing has changed. Right from collection of data to organizing the data, storing the data, using the data, retaining the data, and destructing the data. Still the same concept remains the same. Irrespective of what big data or super big data, I don't care. It's still the same fundamental problem. Collection is that you are collecting the data for the right purpose rather than just for the sake of collecting millions and millions of data and ending up using only less than 1% of the data. What's the point? You know, we talk a lot about big data. You know how much of big data is used? Less than 0.3%. Let's say industry average or company average, less than 0.3% of the big data that you collect is usable. Collection, and also then organizing. How do you organize it? Classifying the data. Identifying the critical data elements that are required for you to perform analytics rather than trying to play with everything and saying that I hope there is a silver bullet that gets something coming out of it, magic solution. It's not going to happen. And storage, whether it should be on the cloud, on-prem, off-prem, what are the security controls around that? Usage. That's where AI, machine learning models to be built. How can I use it? Can I share it? What are the security around that? Protection, then retention. You don't want to keep the data for the sake of keeping. You know, there's a thinking in industry when big data came, acquisition without thought. Just collect as much data as you want, and you will find something out of it. It's not, I mean, come on, that's all, it's not fairy tale actually. You only collect, identify the data that you need and get rid of all the other data. The more data you collect when you end up in litigation, the more problem you're going to have because they will identify issues. So better to get rid of all the most of the data you don't want and keep what you want. But how do you know what data you want, what data you don't want? That's where organizing the data becomes important. Things like classification of the data, identifying the critical data elements, that is critical. Then destruction. If you don't want it, get rid of it. So this is the life cycle of data, but then across the life cycle is things like data quality, metadata, master data, reference data. They are all fundamental components of data life cycle. And they all play a critical role in all the advanced analytics work you do. Then across an organization, data risk become critical. It's all about risk. If in the current data-driven world, if in an organization's risk framework, if data is not identified as a key risk, then there is something seriously wrong. Because all the decisions are made on data. Then data is a critical risk, and it should be as a risk like financial risk or credit risk. You need to have data as a key risk in the balance scorecard of a CEO or a CFO. These are the fundamentals for a data-driven organization. So benchmark to me, what is a true data-driven organization? It was defined by Admiral Grace Hopper, inventor of COBOL in 1965. Someday on the corporate finance balance sheet, there will be an entry that reads information. For in most cases, the information is more valuable than the software and hardware that processes it. True data-driven culture, where you measure, monetize the value of the data for an organization. How many organizations who claim to be an experts in data science and AI have that in the balanced scorecard of a CFO? Do they? Then what's the point in talking about data as a strategic asset? If you believe in data as a strategic asset, you should be measuring the value of the data, rather than building all this analytics and expecting that some outcome will come. But how do you monetize and maximize that? Then you need to have it in the balanced scorecard. So it's a question that people need to ask where you are in the journey, in the data-driven culture journey. So principles of data management remain the same, whether it's insights, analytics, machine learning, deep learning, AI, RPA, small data, medium data, big data, infinite data. Still the fundamental remains the same. Things around data quality, data integration, data architecture, data governance, master data management, metadata management, all remains the same. But the problem is that organizations do not focus. While I'm not saying you should not focus on AI and machine learning, you have to. But you should also focus on the fundamentals around that, because they help you in achieving the outcomes that you want to achieve in a much better way. But that's the question I have. I've seen that for 30 years. Really no improvement. Because people want quick wins. The lifespan of a CEO is 2 years. Lifespan of a CFO is 2 years. They want to get their bonus. Do you think they're going to come and change the fundamental problems around data? Because they're focusing on some outcomes, quick wins. It's not my problem, it's someone else's problem. And that problem grows as you get more data, it becomes more complex. So it becomes life difficult for the data scientists who have to slog 80% of the time trying to address this data problem. And you bring in any vendors, all these experts on machine learning and AI, as soon as it comes to data, they say, oh, that's your internal problem, that's your organization problem. Obviously, they're not going to fix that problem. They're here to build models for you. Right? So, hallmark of a true data-driven organization. These are some of the fundamental principles. Data culture driven from the top with accountability. Coming from the CEO, not sponsorship. A CEO can sponsor many projects. That means no accountability. CEO should take accountability of the driving the data culture across the organization. Treat data as a strategic asset and governs and manage its life cycle. And of course, analytics and AI and all those things are component of that, but they need to govern it end to end through transformation programs over a period of time. You can't fix it overnight. Create a data playground for easy access to and play with the data. Sandbox environments where people let them fail fast, give that environment for them to play with the data. Pilots, experiments, use cases, fast, test, fail, learn. For example, LinkedIn, every day they run 400 tests on data, using data, 400 tests. So the organization should let people play with it, pilot with it. Embeds data-related KPIs in the balanced scorecard of employees. Data should be a key KPI in the balanced scorecard of all the data scientists, all the employees who touch data. For example, I will be responsible for data quality, 5% of your bonus, something like that to drive that culture. Understand and then understand, clearly define the business use cases for data exploitation and exploration. Rather than say, go play with it, try to see whether you come up with some outcome without understanding the subject domain. That's all nice, but let's talk about reality here. You can play with it in innovation or something, but you need to understand the business domain so that you know what problem you are trying to solve. If you want to get the business engaged. Continuous testing and continuous improvement mindset. So continuous testing means any work you do, any output you produce, you should apply that internally to improve your processes, improve your customer services, product services. That mindset should be there. And analytics inform the influences, because use the analytic solutions that you build, whether it's a very small pilot or a bigger project, to influence the influencers like the CFOs and the CXOs. The most important thing, not hippo. Do you know what is hippo? Highly paid person's opinion. Yeah. So you talked a lot these CXOs, and they know, I know, I've been in the business for 30 years. You don't need to come with an analytics solution to tell me that this is what's going to happen. You need to get rid of those guys first, actually. Because they need to realize that data provides a vehicle to support them in the decision-making process. Just because they are the big shot doesn't mean that they know everything. But it's a big problem in organizations. Use data as a critical evidence to help inform and influence strategy. So use data-driven decision making. When you say monetization, doesn't need to be that you need to sell data or create products. You improve operations, operational efficiency, you achieve operational efficiency. How do you decide that you have a problem with operations? You use data, right? To understand you have a problem with operation. And you put some strategies and improve your operational efficiency. Then give respect to the data. Say that, okay, 5% of that came from data. So it's like valued at $10 million or something. So give that respect to the data. So anything internal could be used to monetize data. Find the right balance between data monetization and acceptable use of data. That is a big topic. I would love to talk, but I don't have time. I have slides. You need to know, just in the name of data monetization, you need to be mindful of data privacy of individuals as well as ethical use of data. That's going to be the biggest topic for AI in the future. We all talk about AI. Ethical use of AI is going to be huge, the bias around the data. Okay, so what would success look like in a true data-driven organization? If a person is able to answer some or any of these questions, then successful. Like things like, I can make better decisions faster than ever before. In my data management decision, I place the enterprise needs ahead. I do not misuse the data. If they're able to answer any of these questions, whether it's through analytics or AI, that's a true data-driven organization culture you have created. Okay, so you need to know where you are in your data lifecycle. Where you are. Okay, if you're just doing analytics, where you are. So this is a very well-known maturity model. First, you know where your problem is. If you don't know your problem, how are you going to have a solution? So you need to know where your problem is. So you need to map yourself where you are. And then say, what am I going to do? In the next 1 year, I want to move from awareness to reactiveness. Okay, you need to know that. So you need to make sure you understand that. So roadmap to data-driven culture and what? First things that don't aim, it's all nice to aim high, big, but make sure you are very focused. So envision, make the case for change. You have seen this, it's nothing new. Create a unified data vision. It cannot be departmental data vision. You need a unified data vision if you want to create a culture, data culture across the organization. Facilitate stakeholder action. Solve small business challenges first. Look at what is the low-hanging fruit. Because you want to bring business on board. What is the low-hanging fruit? Try to solve that problem first. Showcase early wins. The art of possible. What is possible with data? It could be a simple dashboard. Insight dashboard, which is also analytics. For some reason, currently in the analytics world, if you are doing descriptive analytics or some dashboard, then it's not analytics. I don't know why, but that's the foundation. Because it plays a key role. If you don't know what is happening, how are you going to say what will happen? If you don't even know what is happening in the first place. So even that could be a early quick win. Then how to find new ways of using data. What could I do? Business may not be aware of that. You can start simple. Then align larger initiative to organization top priorities, then organization-wide data platform and govern it, so you can slowly build the capability. But you have to start somewhere. Where there is a will, there is not one way, there's more than a way. But it's about starting somewhere. That is the biggest challenge I find with organizations. I had a true case study. You might say, all this looks theoretically nice. Okay. All looks good, but is it possible? Yes, it is possible. In fact, for your information, a true data-driven organization culture was created right in India. And it became a global case study in 2009. We created a data-driven organization with all the things that I talked about. In fact, went even more. X% of CEO's bonus was tied to timely, accurate, and relevant data. I'm talking about 10% of CEO's bonus. And that CEO took it on board, and every employee's balance scorecard or their performance goal had data as a key KPI. And we gave awards like data quality rewards for staff entering quality data. We did have monetization data. We had a data risk in the CEO's risk profile. We had information or data as a key KPI in the CFO's balance sheet. We did it, actually. It was not that this was not possible, and it was published as a case study, global case study. So in India, we did it, actually. A lot of organizations used our best practice globally, understanding that that's what a true data-driven organization is. So the reality, this is the latest one I had, Harvard Business Review survey, latest. While 80% of the CEOs claim to have operationalized the notion of data as an asset, only 10% say that the company actually treats it that way. Okay, this is reality. 72% of survey participants report that they have yet to forge a data culture. 69% report they have not created a data-driven organization. So when you look at that, the percentage of firms identifying themselves as being data-driven is declining year on year. It's not improving. So what does it mean? Makes life harder for data scientists and AI. It's declining, and principal challenge of becoming data-driven with respect to culture has been increasing, like you can see. 34 to 62.5% means it's a real issue. So while all these advancements in AI, all those investments are going on in AI and machine learning and data science or something, but to become AI first or AI first, embracing and successfully managing data in all its form is an essential prerequisite. Whether we like it or not, that's going to be the case. Critical obstacles with regard to managing data still must be overcome before companies begin to see meaningful benefits from the big data analytics and AI investment. Okay. I think I should stop because I have a whole section around privacy and ethical use of data and AI, but I don't want to talk about it. So that's what I wanted to say. Please, as a data scientist or AI, think end-to-end stack about data rather than focusing on the use bit only. So any questions?
So in this, thank you. In this fast-moving Scrum world or Agile methodology, generally we see the data governance part comes in the later phase, be it a data-driven project or it's an AI ML project. So how do you see that delay in bringing the data governance is impacting, and what changes could improve?
The problem is that people see data governance as a bad word. Actually, it's not. If you do data governance properly, it's called smarter governance, where all you have to do is use data governance to identify only the critical data elements that you're going to govern. Forget the rest. If you try to, in the fast-paced world with so much data coming in, if you try to govern everything, you will end up nowhere. Identify critical data elements and govern only the critical data elements that are required for your AI, machine learning, or all kinds of work. That will be a quick win. And we have successfully implemented those things rather than, we call it smarter governance, data governance rather than data governance. Yeah.
Thank you.
So first of all, thank you. This is my third Cypher, and thank you for telling the truth after 3 years. We are going through this problem in our organization now 5 years into the analytics.
You are not alone.
Yeah, journey. So the question is, so when we went on this data structuring and getting it on board, the digitization and standardization comes into a major play. Because without standardization, you can't digitize. And getting people to use the interfaces is a huge issue.
Yeah.
How have you come across that?
Again, when you say digitization and standardization, the question is standardization of what? That would help you to monetize data. So rather than focusing on trying to digitize everything or standardize everything, focus on the wins that will help you to get what the outcome you want to get the outcome, and focus on doing the digitization and standardization on that. For that, you need data governance to identify things like critical data elements. And then using the critical data elements, then you can identify what APIs are required to extract those critical data elements from all those silo systems. So that's what we do. We don't do big bang. We do an incremental approach, small, quick win, and then build. But the objective is to show return on investment to the business and then get more investment. That's always the objective.
So we can take the rest of the questions
Thank
outside.
You.
Yeah?
Thank you very
so
much.
much.